Since employment and retirement is why we are here, my career I will highlight, so lend me an ear. We should add to our family, said Mildred and Pete. Yes, a sister for Richard would be such a treat. A conception took place when the egg met the sperm. Mildred Ludders in 9 months did make it to term. On July 31st in the year 42, a quick labor preceded their baby's debut. But the daughter expected turned out to be male. Weighing 9 pounds 9 ounces, plump Darrell did wail. Most instruction took place in parochial schools, where Darrell excelled and accepted the rules. It was grade school in Long Beach from 6 to 13, then to Linwood Academy for change of scene. With a monotone voice, he did enter first grade. The church choir director then came to his aid. She led a male chorus in which he enrolled, and his penchant for singing began to unfold. In high school, he sang in a quartet of boys. From the sacred to barbershop gave him true joys. Trumpet lessons went 8 in his brother's tradition. With practice and band, he became a musician. At 12 years of age, wanting Jesus' friend, into waters of baptism he did descend. In tennis, his parents instructed and played. Fascination for golfing commenced in 8th grade. Playing tennis and golf became his avocation. Defeating his brother gave great celebration. With his mother and brother and college-age squad, Darrell traveled at 18 for 10 weeks abroad. He resided in Long Beach for 19 great years. Then his folks moved to Dallas, away from his peers. While already in college, this change had occurred. California's instruction by him was preferred. In Riverside, Darrell continued in college. Mathematics and pre-med enhanced basic knowledge. With schooling each summer in 3 years was done. But despite all the studies, he still had some fun. There were music and sports and occasional dating. With more school ahead, he delayed thoughts of mating. Another quartet made chaotic spare hours. To get all tasks accomplished was no bed of flowers. Loma Linda for medicine lasted 4 years. He passed all the exams, even though having fears. With his dental school brother for 2 years he roomed. Then with classmates while Richard for marriage was groomed. Playing tennis, he met female twins from DC. Freshman med students playing competitively. At the end of the tennis match, all were fatigued. With them, he, then a senior, became quite intrigued. Since Barbara was dating, 'twas Bev he asked out. Over time, they discovered what love was about. He interned in Glendale while Bev was still training. Together most weekends kept them from complaining. Loma Linda, June 9th, Darrell sang to his bride. In Carmel, their betrothal was soon satisfied. He had to decide on a specialty field. By his delivering babies to Darrell appealed. Loma Linda was home for his resident work, but Vietnam in the back of his mind oft did lurk. With training completed, the Army then beckoned. Virginia's not bad during wartime, he reckoned. In 72, early Thanksgiving morn, daughter Jennifer Lynn by mid-forceps was born. A practice to join when his Army life ended. For 2 years he hunted, and Boise contended. In 73, he joined Dr. St. Clair. In transition with Bev, the changed workplace showed flair. As a bass, then a tenor in 75, he joined Master Chorale, keeping singing alive. More physicians were needed to lessen the call, but an office much larger was vital for all. Some land near St. Al's was acquired for construction. A new modern workplace could increase production. Lacking space while assessing a new male physician, To Kenya for 3 months, Darrell left for a mission. To remove from a back a huge 40-pound mass, he used pulleys and wires while the patient breathed gas. Then the practice called Boga on North Curtis Road in year 78 moved to their new abode. With transition completed and new doc then gone, Dr. Kattenhorn joined them. His first name was John. A brief duty in Guam Darrell spent in OB. It was while he was gone life for Bev felt so free. Personality issues became reinforced. 82 was the year Bev and Darrell divorced. They refused to succumb to a grim state of war. In the office together, they worked as before. So Darrell, not knowing the future awaiting, a classmate from college he then began dating. With 23 years since their only true date, it was Vicky, a widow, he chose as his mate. Then on April the 3rd of the year 84, a new 5-member family emerged as the core. There was Vicky as mom, besides Darrell as dad, and the children were Jennifer, Kristen, and Chad. The blending of families was not without struggles, but outcome was this: fewer troubles than snuggles. The children, now grown with postgraduate training, are often their own, not financially draining. Family practice with Bev had been there from the start. Nurse practitioner Gloria gave from her heart. Then nurse midwives were added who broke status quo, a succession of Liz, Georgiana, and Joe. After 23 years of Dwayne, John, and Darrell, a male-only practice could soon be in peril. In 2001 arrived kind Cindy Hayes. This began the Meridian satellite phase. Darrell practiced at 60 for 5 years alone. With malpractice insurance he bought on his own. Sarah Logan then came, but long-term did decline. Then Dwayne abdicated at age 69. Lisa Mingy replaced them to help pay the bills, a success with her verbal and surgical skills. With a bad EMR and then Cindy's departing, Meridian closed and the practice was smarting. With a new doctor needed, St. Al's came a courting. Despite trepidations, their offer was sporting. With Al's proposed contract, dilemmas did lurk, such as in-office ultrasound vital for work. Since Darrell and Stephanie worked hand in hand, to then sign up with Al's, Boga took a hard stand. Family practice moved out when the contract was signed. The staff was upset, for the old days they pined. 6 years ago, Becky McCaffrey arrived. With her service commitment, the practice revived. It was shortly thereafter St. Al's broke the news. To consolidate practices gave staff the blues. Most of Boga's employees had worked there for years, and the thoughts of their moving gave various fears. For 30 plus years, Bobby nursed for Dwayne. They had worked with each other like Tarzan and Jane. At first Brenda, then Grace, and then Brenda once more, spanning Darrell's career, were his nurses de jour. With patience they bonded, compassion their creed. Their complete dedication helped Darrell succeed. So Nurse Brenda retired when the big move was made, but her doc doing likewise, she failed to persuade. Sandy Looney, John's nurse since the 90s employed, briefly made the transition she strived to avoid. Practice manager Marg in the 70s started.
Oh, yeah.
Supporting the practice, she's never departed.
Oh, yeah.
The front office changeover proved to be tricky for Kathy, Yvette, Angie, Julie, and Vicky. Denise, Sandy Rogers, plus Holly and Carrie, as business staff, they had cause to be wary. MA's Becky, Rochelle, and Cherie planned to move. Nurses Jane, Jan, and Tammy got into the groove. Katie Shevlin, MOOF manager, always upbeat, often countered the moods of impending defeat. 3 years in the past, the two practices merged in the Mulvaney building with unity urged. With the move then achieved, apprehension still reigned, but the dread turned to joy as hostility waned. The initial transition could not be called fun, but the separate call groups soon merged into one. A cohesive environment reigned once again, its name Samji Mulvaney OBGYN. For Darrell, assistants were frequently traded. Nurse Tammy, Rochelle, and then Stephanie aided. Debbie Young moved her practice and shared Darrell's space. Being thrust in the mix, she responded with grace. Well-matched Darrell and Debbie now share an MA. Efficient Elizabeth earns all her pay. 2 years ago, Darrell stopped doing OB. With no night call in practice, half time he felt free. With his reading of ultrasounds gone for 1 year, he's in semi-retirement, not shedding a tear. Now I've finished my third-person life sketch portrayed. For the future, my first-person script is the trade. My orchestration of call schedules soon will be gone. After almost forever, I'll will it to John. With retirement lurking, I'm oft asked a question. Just what will you do when time's at your discretion? The answer I give is not that much will change. My schedule, while jobless, I'll not rearrange. To keep me in shape, there's a list I've compiled. Golf, tennis, and volleyball learned as a child. I'll continue my singing in master chorale, and in church playing trumpet should help my morale. But with life and health tenuous, all plans can vary. For travel intentions, I seldom do tarry. In October, will Vicky and I plan to cruise to Australia from Hong Kong, the route we did choose. Between tennis and walks, Vicky steps 6+ miles, creates beautiful jewelry and knits unique styles. Of course, family's a huge part of our future plans. Grandkids Bea and sister Baylin are our fans. It's in wine country Napa their parents are living. For their health and their happiness, we give thanksgiving. A psychiatrist, Chad's a forensics advisor. Wife Allison works as a child stabilizer. Nurse anesthetist Kristen near Portland resides. Her spouse Jimmy is lawyer and real estate guides. Granddog Bronco as well loves his papa and McGrammy. This poodle and lab mix gives kisses quite clammy. Daughter Jennifer helps to give refugees peace. A world traveler in Jordan, she signed a short lease. Every day as I finally get out of bed, no office appointments are waiting ahead. My dear patients I'll miss, some I've seen 40 years. Many joys we have shared, other times there have been tears. The people with whom I have worked all this time, some that work in the present and some in my prime, but heartfelt sincerity I wish to thank, and they all will be placed in my I miss you bank. For Kathy we mourn, having died of spread cancer. With Jan we can cry as there's no simple answer. Just how long health and life last is anyone's guess, but no circumstance cancels God's promise to bless. As a Christian with Seventh-day Adventist ties, I look forward to heaven beyond my demise. Tonight, Becky and John have gone over the top in planning this party I wish would not stop. Tavola, I thank for the savory food that inspired us to be in a party-type mood. Thank you all for attending. Your stomachs are filled. Thanks to John and to Becky, you will not be billed.